What did I do to afford a Lamborghini? This one's going to be a good one, but the steps I took may not necessarily work for you. You will learn a couple things about this, so definitely stay tuned for the whole entire video. How's it going, everyone? My name is D. I run LamboView, and what I do is teach you everything about Lamborghini. I teach you how to own it, what it is like to own it, how to afford it, so on and so forth. So if you have a question, write it down below. I will do a video on it. What did I do to own a Lamborghini? This is a good question. I'm 35 right now. There were a ton of different steps that I did, but I will say that I was able to go from zero to Lamborghini in about 5 years. There was a lot of hard work, a lot of luck that played with it, a lot of perfect storms, perfect scenarios, but many other people can do the same thing if they have the discipline to do it. What I did 5 years ago from today was, it was April 2020, the lockdown, pretty much 5.5 years ago from today. It was starting out with zero. I was in the negative actually. And then I basically told myself that I'm gonna get the fuck out of this hole. So that's what I did. I have a degree in business that I never used. It never really helped me out at all. I tried to use it to get jobs, but those jobs sucked and it just took forever to find a job. So I wanted to do something that I enjoyed doing. So what I did was I went to a dealership and then I got myself a job as a product specialist. And I worked just like everyone else, 40, 50 hours a week. One thing I did differently that you could take away from starting now is your 9 to 5 that you do builds your monthly income, your daily income, whatever, your typical 40 grand to 60 grand a year. But the thing to know is that from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., that's your Lamborghini window where you can start doing things, creative things, or get another job, or basically put yourself into a position where you're building a system that is going to get you higher up in life. So that's what I did. Once I was done working at my job, I would go outside, film cars during my off hours and my off days. In the beginning, it was a thing that I just did for fun. I just loved doing it. But then the more you kind of put out content, the more that like-minded people come up to you with questions they might have about problems that you yourself may have the answers to. So what I did was I'd go outside at the end of my shift, take my camera, my phone, still using my phone till this day, 5 years later. I would go film cars and teach people how to use the cars. And that's what I did. I did that every single week for an entire year, after my shift, before my shift, during my off time. And I would go out there and record videos once a week, post once a week. One thing led to the next. After about a year, my YouTube channel that I was posting up all these videos on began to get a crazy amount of traction. One thing led to the next. The video started to blow up left and right. I didn't even care about being perfect. I would just post. People would ask me questions and I would do videos with the answers. And then before I knew it, things just blew out of proportion in a really good way. The channel, my other channel that I have aside from this one, is called Beamer View. If you want to go check that out, you can check it out. At the making of this video, the channel currently has 125,000. The channel itself pays for my Lamborghini. I could have honestly bought 2 Lamborghinis with that channel and combining it with all the other revenue streams that channel is tied to, such as courses and affiliate marketing, so on and so forth. But that was my, you could say, unfair advantage that I used to get to this point. That everybody has their own unfair advantage in life, or a skill set that you have that somebody else might not have. And it may be something surrounded about what you like to read up on. Somebody might be a really good cook. They can shoot content about cooking, and then before you know it, you upload videos about cooking every year, and then you could blow up too. We're in an age right now where so many people are using the internet to make money. And I personally think that even if you have a physical business or you're doing something in the real world, that you have to have social media in order to get to wherever it is you're trying to get to. If you have a business that is located in New York, you still want to do reels and post about whatever it is you're doing. Because these days, I would say more than half of our time is spent on our phones. So that's your opportunity to get into people's face through their phones. So Social media, in my opinion, if you don't have the skill to make content, you're going to be way, way behind. Two things you got to learn in your lifetime in the age that we're in right now is how to shoot content, because you're going to have to put yourself out there and network and make connections, which will propel you to get into a Lamborghini. And then the other thing you need to do is leverage AI. So the way that I'm using AI for the YouTube channel that we have here is I'm asking AI, hey, what are the top 10 questions that viewers want to ask Lamborghini owners? So just by me punching that into ChatGPT, I get a list of 10 different questions, which I make 10 different videos on, and now you're watching me. So that is one example of what I did to get to this point. Once my former YouTube channel took off, it was smooth sailing after that. And it still is. And I'm blessed to be able to say that as well. But as mentioned at the beginning of the video, what I did might not necessarily work for you. There's kind of two things you have to get into a Lamborghini, in my opinion. And your number one skill is going to be your high income skill. You could say, for example, my high income skill was YouTube. And then once I made a good amount of money on YouTube, I would live off 50% of that, and then the other 50% I would put it into investments. The easiest investment that I would recommend everyone know how to do, and again, no financial expert here, just a guy on YouTube, is to park 50% of your money into the S&P 500, and then just keep doing that same thing for 10 years. And then you're going to see that account with the S&P 500 just go out the moon. If you can do those two things, if you can make a good amount of money doing something which gives you a unfair advantage, and again, everyone has something, you just have to go out there and go find out what it is. It's something you like to do, something you're passionate about that you can use to help somebody else. That's quite honestly it. That's your unfair advantage that you need to tap into. Once you do that, your money's going to go out the roof, but don't just go out there and go spend the entire thing. Just have some discipline, save 50% of it, and then live off 50%, and park your 50% that you're saving into the S&P 500, and then just keep doing that. Fast forward 10 years, the money that you have in the S&P 500 account is just going to be something enormous. And 10 years after that, 20 years down the road from today, the money is even going to be a more crazy amount. So that was what I did. I made money from YouTube, lived off 50% of it, put the other 50% into the S&P 500, watched it grow 5-10 years down the road, and now I'm here with this car. Obviously, it didn't take me that long because I did work a lot harder than the average human being to get to this point. But if you were considered just the average Joe doing your 9 to 5, that is going to be the way that you do it too. But I would highly recommend that you do your 9 to 5, and then from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. go work on something that gives you an unfair advantage in life, and then make money that way. Because once your 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. takes off, then that can be your new 24/7, and then before you know it, your bank account is flowing. And then take 50% of that, park it into the S&P 500 or into investments, and then just watch that money grow, and you'll be surprised. If you want to know how that finish line will look like, go download a compound calculator and then plug in all the numbers, and then you'll see exactly what I mean. But yeah, that is what I did. YouTube and investments. I did those two things, and now I'm here. And if I could do it, you could do it too. I failed college 10 years in a row, and I got a degree that I've never used in my entire life. So that goes to show. But yeah, quick video, quite repetitive, I'm not gonna lie, but I do want to make sure that I drill it into your head, so that's why I keep on repeating myself. If you all had any questions, write it down below. If you want a video topic that you want me to do, write that down below. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all for the next one.